I'm sorry I can't be there with you today. It's important that I be in Washington, D.C. tonight for the President's State of the Union address. There are so many components of that address that one has to go through and has to be evaluated, and it is an important time from a historical standpoint. But it's also important what you've done historically in the renewable fuels industry in Iowa. And I mark my time back to the 70s when these ideas first came together. And I think about people sitting around their kitchen tables in the late 70s and the early 80s putting together the idea of how we were going to market our grain and get a better price for it. And so out of that came the renewable fuels industry, of which Iowa now is a national leader. And today, out of 13.8 billion gallons of ethanol produced in America, Iowa produces about 3.7 billion. It's around 27% of all the ethanol produced in America. We are the leader in biodiesel also. The first piece of legislation I introduced when I went to Congress was to extend the blender's credit for ethanol and create the blender's credit for biodiesel. We know what that has done over the past, but also when I had people come to me 2 or 2.5 years ago and ask if the ethanol industry was in trouble politically here in Washington, my first answer was, no, I see no sign of that. A few months later, I started to see the signs, and now we know that our political competitors have mounted an all-out effort to undermine at least the ethanol component of renewable fuels. And the result of it is we know that the blender's credit has expired, and the 54-cent tariff on Brazilian ethanol has also expired. We have the RFS, the Renewable Fuel Standard, that we must defend. And they are going after it, and I need your help on that in a very intense way. So far, biodiesel has been not quite the center of their crosshairs, so we have to protect that as well. But it's so important, especially to Iowa. We are the #1 renewable fuels producing area in the country. The 5th Congressional District is the #1 congressional district producing renewable energy in America, and the new 4th will easily be #1 in the country. So we are the center, we're the epicenter. And it isn't just this generation of renewable fuels that's so important, but it's the knowledge base and the industrial base that we're developing that we can market to the rest of the country and the rest of the world in the next generation. So I thank you for all of your work, all the things that you've done to develop and create an industry and support it. And I'd ask you to continue to pay attention to the politics. I'll do my part, you do your part, and let's take this renewable fuels to the next generation. Thanks a lot for gathering today. I really do wish I was there to learn from you. And I look forward to opening my door and having conversations with many of you in the year ahead.